Hey everybody. Today we're going to discuss my federal lawsuit against Google and YouTube. I filed this lawsuit as a patriotic American because I could no longer ethically sit on the sidelines while big tech companies demonize and discriminate against law-abiding American citizens on behalf of socialist foreign governments who dishonestly call America their ally. This lawsuit was filed in Denver, Colorado federal court on August 22nd, 2019. While I won't be doing a deep dive into the complaint itself, this video will explain the lawsuit in more general terms. Later, if there's enough interest, maybe I'll do a video series breaking down each key point of my lawsuit into its own video. Also, I've done multiple interviews about this lawsuit already with 21 Studios, Sandman, and Honey Badgers. If you're a content creator and you want to discuss this lawsuit specifically, feel free to reach out and let's set something up. Now, before we get started, let's address one thing. I've heard things like, Bob, what makes you think things will be any different for you? Everybody else lost. Well, let me address this in two ways. First, just about everybody who has leveled this concern toward me has two things in common. First, they never read the lawsuit complaints prior to mine, and secondly, they never read my complaint. Now, why is this important? It's important because no one can legitimately or objectively judge any lawsuit based on ignorant presumptions alone. So if you get these half-cocked, ignorant armchair quarterbacks who never read any of the lawsuits, and more often than not, they have little to no legal knowledge and just regurgitate people's words rather than educating themselves to make a reasonably informed decision on their own. Now, with that out of the way, let me tell you about my lawsuit and why it's far different than any other lawsuit before it, and by the time this video is over, it should be obvious why I think this lawsuit will be more successful. Let's dive in. First, I'm challenging Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act as unconstitutional. Section 230 was enacted to protect free speech, but big tech has been using it to enforce foreign hate speech laws on United States citizens residing on U.S. soil. This is a clear violation of the First Amendment of the United States Constitution's protections on free speech and freedom to affiliate. Further, the First Amendment states Congress is barred from creating any law that abridges the freedom of speech, which is exactly what Section 230 does. It even says as much in the law itself. It states that even constitutionally protected material can be censored. It's my view, this is unconstitutional on its face. Now, the next part confuses me. Let me explain. Now, every lawsuit prior to mine has never addressed the fact that big tech, in order to get Section 230 protections, needs to demonstrate they're acting in good faith. Now, this is a required element. Yet I haven't seen a single lawsuit that claims big tech isn't entitled to Section 230 immunities because they're censoring in bad faith. So my lawsuit states that even if Section 230 is found by the courts to be constitutional, Google and YouTube are not entitled to any immunities because they have demonstratively acted in bad faith for reasons that will be clear by the time this video is ended. Next, I state that Google and YouTube's contracts are unconscionable. Mainly, this is because these contracts are contracts of adhesion and are offered from a position of extremely unequal bargaining power. Further, Google and YouTube's contracts contain clauses that allow them to change the terms without notice, at will, at any time they want. This constitutes unfair surprise. Finally, while I could use a YouTube competitor, the main competitors all have similar clauses in their agreements, so I have no meaningful choice of whether or not to do business with YouTube as the largest platform in the world for video. Now, these are all elements required to declare a contract unenforceable, which is my goal. Next, and most importantly, Google and YouTube have been enforcing foreign hate speech laws against United States citizens on U.S. soil on behalf of China, the European Union, and the signatory countries of the Christchurch Call. Before we dive into this one, let me state this, and this also is important. The European Union Code of Conduct and the Christchurch Call agreements were signed by multiple countries. They are, in effect, treaties. Google and YouTube, in their narcissistic hubris, signed de facto treaties with foreign governments to develop and work with these countries' law enforcement agencies to enforce criminal hate speech laws on the internet against United States citizens on United States soil. It's my view this constitutes government interference, and it transforms Google and YouTube into state actors as a required element under 42 U.S.C. civil rights law. This also allows me to sue Google and YouTube for free speech and freedom of association violations. In addition, and again, this is important, I'm also suing Google and YouTube for national origin discrimination, for targeting me for my patriotic Christian American beliefs and culture. This is not political discrimination. This is, again, national origin discrimination. And I want this to be very clear. National origin discrimination violates well-settled federal civil rights law. Even worse, Google and YouTube even admitted they appointed foreign government agencies as trusted flaggers. So they are definitely working with foreign government agencies as a joint enterprise. And prior to this lawsuit, this theory has never been used against big tech before in this way. However, since the United States has been concerned about foreign interference in federal elections since 2016, my lawsuit proves this is happening. But it's not Russia who's responsible. It's Google and YouTube working directly and on behalf of foreign governments who hate our constitutional rights to free speech and our right to bear arms and own guns. Now, this next cause of action is also new to Google and YouTube as well. I'm stating they're a place of public accommodation under federal civil rights law 42 U.S.C. 2000A. The Department of Justice stated in a 2018 letter to Congress that they have long held websites to be places of public accommodation. There is even case law that supports this view. If the court finds that YouTube.com is a place of public accommodation, then they can enforce civil rights law there also. This means my claims of national origin discrimination, religious discrimination as a Christian, and my free speech claims get additional causes of action. Now, what's next? Oh yeah, Google and YouTube commit fraud. They deny they keep blacklists and they shadow ban users. They conceal they work with foreign government law enforcement agencies to silence Americans' free speech. They also publicly state they support free speech while behind the scenes working to destroy it. This is fraud, plain and simple, because they never disclose this in any of their contracts, not once. They also never admit that they will demonetize American YouTube channels at the request of foreign governments. Again, more fraud. Now, let's get to the federal crimes that Google and YouTube commit. Google and YouTube's inflating and shadow banning, as well as maintaining secret blacklists, is more than just contract fraud. It's a federal antitrust crime. Let me explain. By boosting websites and videos with their internal tools revealed by Project Veritas, these websites and YouTube channels get more traffic. More traffic means that AdSense marketing customers get overcharged for ads. Further, it also means when advertisers bid on these contracts, Google and YouTube, using internal tools, fraudulently inflate the price of these ads. The AdSense auction is a provable fraud against advertisers as it artificially inflates advertiser marketing costs. Why is this so damning? It's because Google and YouTube earn the majority of their revenue based on this AdSense fraud. In addition to that, by maintaining blacklists, Google and YouTube are also defrauding YouTube video publishers from rightfully and legally earned revenue, criminally defrauding video producers who publish videos on their platforms. This is also a crime. Finally, in December of last year, I made a video discussing how the Southern Poverty Law Center directly funds Antifa. Well, as it turns out, that Southern Poverty Law Center is a 501c3 partner of Google and YouTube. The Southern Poverty Law Center is also one of their trusted flaggers. Even worse, Google lets their employees work at the Southern Poverty Law Center for 6-month increments, and Google, all the while, pays their salary. The Southern Poverty Law Center pays nothing. This is in addition to any money Google and YouTube donate to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Google should not be allowed to indirectly or directly fund federal criminals or terrorist organizations such as Antifa. It was supposed to be do no evil, not be the most evil. I believe Google and YouTube, based on the facts contained in my lawsuit, deeply oppose the United States Constitution and the American way of life. My lawsuit seeks to hold them accountable for this, as well as their retaliation and discrimination against me as a patriotic American citizen. If you want to read the entire lawsuit, it's 67 pages, but with attachments, it's over 500 pages. A link will be provided in the description below. Also, if you support this suit, feel free to go to the link below and support this suit through GoFundMe. If you can't financially support my efforts, then please like and share this video far and wide. The more attention we are able to bring to this lawsuit, the easier it will be to hold Google and YouTube accountable for their discrimination. If we do this right, this could be the end of an era, but it's going to take everyone's support to make this happen. I'm DDJ, and this lawsuit opposing foreign interference in our electoral system and supporting American civil rights is your dose of misandry today.